Oh, it says recording started. We're live.
Perfect. Okay, we're live.
Oh, okay. So, no.
I think you're all good, Patrick.
Excellent. Thank you.
Hey, Chuck. How's it going? Can you guys see the comments as well?
Hold on a second. If I click on comments. Oh, yeah, don't see or hear anything. Got it now. Hi.
Hey, Rach.
Has Rachel joined?
She's here. Perfect. Now it's working. So sorry for the extra few minutes, guys. Oh, now it's working. There we are. Okay, perfect. We're just waiting for a few more people to come. Oh, I thought I added Rachel. Here we go.
There we go. I was like, I don't see me.
So
You're okay. You're okay.
Okay, perfect. You can see us all, Rich?
Yes, I can.
Wonderful. Okay, so I can see the comments. So I think the way we'll do this, since this is new, hello, heart-shaped. I think what we'll do is I'll just read any of the comments that, and then if you just want to put your finger up so I can see who wants to answer the questions, that would be good, because I know there's going to end up being quite a few of us, so it'll get really confusing if we're all trying to talk at the same time. And what you might want to do is just mute your microphone in between, because, kids or feedback. For me, it'll be the dog. So if that works for you, we're just waiting for a few more people. This was kind of last minute changing this over to StreamYard. So, hey, Lise.
You send John the link.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, I'll send it to John. One sec, guys.
He said he got everything downloaded. He's just
perfect. Okay. Bear with me. You guys go ahead, and I'm just going to send this to John Purkey, and I'll make sure Joe's not having any issues. So go ahead and
I just talked to Joe too. He said he needs.
Okay.
I'm trying to tell him what it looks like, but
is it pretty easy to get going, Lisa?
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
Yeah, it was easy.
Okay, so we'll switch to this from Zoom then, maybe. That way we won't have any issues. So we're getting some great, some lovely hellos. Hi, Michelle. Hi, everyone. Hi, Patrick. Happy birthday, Kurt and Patrick. Happy birthday, Patrick. John says, hi, Lisa. And then someone, Yeti, our good friend Yeti, says, John Purkey. Wow. Hey, Patrick, Michelle, Lisa, Bev, and Rachel. Ben is excited to see John, so hopefully he will be on here very soon. And Melissa says, happy birthday, Kurt.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, Bev.
Hi.
Rach, I love your sign back there.
Thank you. That's what I was trying to get fixed really quick before. That's why I was like, wait, no, did I mess up the time? Like, I have to get it done before we start.
Oh, it's perfect. No, I know all the time zones have been so confusing. While we're waiting for people, why don't we do a quick little, here's somebody else is coming. 2 seconds here. It's covered up. Oh, there we go.
Can you
There's
send
John.
Mike a link?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay. Hey, John.
Hey, John.
Hello.
Hi, John.
Hello.
Hey, John.
Beverly and Rachel.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
How's it going, John?
Oh, hey. Yeah. All right. How are you doing, Patrick?
Excellent. Good.
Lisa? Michelle?
Hey, John.
I'm just sending the link to a couple more people here. So go ahead. Do you guys want to maybe start by giving a quick introduction of, as to, I think, most of us know each other, but let's do a quick intro. I'll let you guys go ahead and do at least you want to lead and then pick who should go next. Just while I send this, I have a few other people to add to the chat. So go for it.
This is loud enough.
Yeah, we're good. Who wants to start? I'm good. John, you want to start us out?
Yeah, his mic's on already.
Start out just talking about myself.
Please, tell us a little bit about who you are, John.
Well, I am very much a creative, dedicated creative type person. That's pretty much what my life revolves around, whether it's music, video, photography. I have to be creating something. And if I'm not creating something, I start to lose it a little bit. I start to just lose it. And so once I get back into writing a song or something like that, I usually feel better. Sometimes I have to go into some different breathing meditations and stuff to be able to be all right. been challenging, you know. Life, I think as we get older, life becomes, it transforms, you know. So for me, I think the loss, you know, I mean, it's something that we all have to deal with, and is confronted, you know, confronts us. And you know, when it's like, I'm kind of going through this with one of my family members, you know, that's like, my dad. And you know, so I'm super, I feel like I'm always on the edge, you know. I feel like that panic, you know, like there's a possible I'm in panic mode almost, but not. Then I can be like, okay, no, I'm all right. I'll work on songs, do my thing. But you know, so it's I do my own, I don't want to say really spiritual practice, because I've been a Buddhist since like 1980. I was introduced to Buddhism from my mom. I was pretty young, and I wasn't really that interested then, but I still like, I still practiced, and my brother and my dad never got it at all, you know. But I was like, oh, one with my environment. I'm one with the universe. I'm like nature. I'm like, oh yeah, of course. That's, you know. So gradually throughout the years, I've become more interested in Zen, more interested in different types of meditations, which literally have like saved my life, you know, from getting sober to being able to deal with, you know, some really intense situations with loss, you know, with like profound loss, you know, like when you lose, like, you know, one of your best friends, or somebody that was one of your best friends that, you know, I mean, it's just like, I'm talking about not Kurt right now. I'm actually talking, you know, Kurt was like, that was like so long ago, you know, the loss, that it's not that it doesn't affect me now. It's kind of like, you know, you might feel this too, Patrick, where it's like, I feel like I knew this new Elvis, and it wasn't like that for quite a few years. And all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, Kurt is an icon. He's a freaking icon. I mean, like, no, but say in 2000 or 2001, it wasn't, I didn't really look at it like that. I felt like, you know,
I personally classed with that.
in a sense, like he should be on that level with John Lennon or something, you know.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying. Anyway, I'll stop. I can go
No,
on.
you're good.
But this, I just want to finish out. This type of thing is helpful, you know, helpful to be able to actually not, you know, just to be able to converse with you know, with different people, make new friends, and you know, in this process, continuing process of life. I mean, that's really, you know, that's really what we have, you know. Yeah. So.
Cool. Thanks, John. Okay, I'm just going to start from the top here so everybody can get to know a little bit about the people who are working behind the scenes here on the team. This is our friend Beverly from Ireland. Bev, tell us a little bit about yourself and what Kurt means to you.
Well, I am a mother of 2 daughters and a tiny little granddaughter who is just absolutely adorable. I am a Wiccan witch, so I don't hex people or curse people. I put good things out into the world, not mean things.
Help me sign on.
Hi.
Yeah, there I am. Hey, how you guys doing?
There he is.
I first discovered Kurt when I was about 18. Saw the Smells Like Teen Spirit video on MTV and was just absolutely blown away and thought it was the most amazing thing ever. And then that was me kind of from then. To be honest, when Kurt first died, I did kind of drink the C word Kool-Aid, if you will, and bought into the whole official narrative. But then I think it was whenever Sophie was born, so we're talking maybe 2005, I discovered that no, this was not the case, and became very passionate about the injustice of everything, and just really wanted to help in any way, which I didn't think I could do, but it ended up then I did. Lisa brought me into the team, and here we are, and it's just fantastic to be able to, say that we have come so far and that we're all coming together to do this for Kurt. I love him so much that I married a man who looks exactly like him. We've been together for 26 years now, and he's aged pretty well, to be honest with you. So yeah, he's still real handsome. He still has that Kurtness about him. So yeah, we're together. I'm not superficial at all, but yeah, it helps.
We'll keep him then. We'll keep your
him.
husband. Yeah. Okay. That's perfect. Lovely. Thank you, Bev. Patrick, I think a lot of us here have watched you on the podcast, but do you want to give us a quick, just a quick bio?
Yeah. So I'm from Seattle. I'm exactly a year and a day older than Kurt, and so that kid had to just sit down. And I don't know on his birthday if I can really summarize what he means to me. A lot. We had some I'm very fortunate. At the time, I didn't realize. I was under the impression there were a lot of other friends like me, and the intimacy and the subjects we talked about and the differences between other friends and my experience is really only punctuated to me how rare and a great experience that was, but it also, like, since then left me kind of in this wasteland. And I went through the whole process trying to accept a suicide, even though I never did buy it. And so I really felt pretty alone for a long time about this. I was made to feel like we were the crazy people if we talked about anything other than and it just, the more that came out, obviously it's like, am I the only one who has eyes here? Anyway, yeah, so to bring it quickly back around, I'm just I'm still a songwriter. I write songs every day. Kurt and I bonded over that, as well as just being goofballs, and I'm grateful to have those experiences. But it's weird because having shared some of these things, I didn't really realize that people didn't really glean this from him as much as they didn't. Even people who knew him, like John, didn't necessarily always see this goofy side. And for me, when I see it in a photo, when I see it in an interview, I'm just like, yep, there he is. But other people, it might just roll on by. So I'm being told that I'm affecting positively people's viewpoint of him because of my experiences and sharing that. And I'm going to have to process that for a while to tell you how that feels. So anyway, that's
Thank
me.
you so much, Patrick. That's lovely. Rach, I think, is one of our newest team members. We've had, quite a few new people come on over the past few months, but Rach, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
So I'm 34. I'm from Cincinnati. I'm a mother, and I've been a fan of Nirvana and Kurt specifically for as long as I can remember. His music has always just kind of hit me in my soul, I guess you could say. He's always meant a lot to me. He's the first, I guess you could say, celebrity that I remember standing up for, sexism and racism and just not giving a shit.
Exactly.
And putting it all out there, and that really means a lot to me. So
I like to
on
say,
this Really quickly, we're going to talk about this on a future
Yeah,
episode. Really
I
coming
really
soon.
like
Just wanted
good,
to
to
say.
say something about that because I mean in my introduction, all I really said it was about myself, but that was something that so my relationship with Kurt was like the end of 1997, mostly 98, 99. I mean, sorry, 80,
80.
87.
What are you
We're going
smoking?
back a lot of years now. 87, 88, 89, and 90. And once those guys started, and 91, but once those guys were recording, got the record deal, recording and everything, didn't really see him other than a few shows, or like record release or whatever. But what I wanted to say is that what you said was very real. So in the punk rock scene, I was part of the punk rock scene here in Tacoma, and there was a handful of bands that were very political in a sense where we specifically had songs that had to do with we had a song about the incident, the same incident that Kurt kind of wrote Polly about. We had a song called Psychopath, and it was when the girl, it was, and it was about that same exact incident.
Oh, wow.
That happened at the Community Road Theater. But anyway, we had songs about animal rights. It was really like, just really covering meaning, like topics that needed to be heard and needed to be considered. Yep. Now, Kurt was one of the only people that I can really put my finger on that wasn't in the hardcore scene that took that, once he knew that people were listening, right? Mm-hmm. When his fame started happening, and he literally go like, okay, fuck this. I'm going to say whatever the fuck I want on MTV, on whatever. And I don't give a fuck. And I'm going to help any band I want to help. I'm going to talk real about what really matters. So Kurt was, and Chris, no doubt about it. I mean, they were like,
for sure,
we're going to, and that's part of like the Northwest Olympia, K label. I was in a band called Noxious Fumes, and we were an early K label band.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, like the Olympia, Tacoma, some Seattle, really like, I mean, it was, we kind of got like shit for being that type of band, for being like, political and like caring, right?
Yeah.
When a lot of punk bands were talking about, whatever, drinking and getting fucked up. And that's one thing about Kurt. He drank a little bit, but I didn't drink much myself, but we connected on that level a lot, that we liked hanging out because we weren't both getting fucked up,
Right.
And didn't have any money, it was just like trying to share some time, and just, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to reflect on that. I think that was, thank you. That was really, really important, especially in this day and age right now with what's going on. I think like, Nirvana fans, no matter how young you are, how you really have to be aware of that, because that's,
I agree.
The misogyny and the freaking like bullshit that's going on now. It's like people are just like, oh, I don't fucking care. As long as I'm making a lot of money, it doesn't matter,
Yep.
I need to take a 5-minute break. I'll be right back.
Okay.
No problem, Tim.
Hey, and can anyone hear me?
We can hear you, Lennon. Yep.
Okay, good.
Perfect. Okay, Lennon, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, since we just heard your lovely voice.
Oh, hi, my name's Lennon. I told Patrick the other day a couple of stories about Nirvana and how it affected me, how Kurt affected me. So I knew about Nirvana, right, when I was little, because I'm young. I was only 10 when Kurt died. But
I mean, let's be real. All your kids. So anyway,
well, yeah.
You
So
got the most hair.
Wow.
I came from a broken home. Okay, like I came from a rough childhood. Let's just put it at that. And then my parents divorced that year, and my brother was homeless. And we were living in a 1-bedroom apartment. And my brother, he came and found us because he saw in the white pages that my mom and dad were gone, separate, divorced. And he came back home. So, he'd rather be homeless than be home. But anyway, so he came back home. We were in a 1-bedroom apartment, and I looked up to my brother big time, and he gave me this tape. He put it in the cassette. He was like, "This is Nirvana, never mind." And I will never forget it. Like, I will never forget that summer. It changed my life forever. And I mean, I went from a girl playing with Barbies to just fuck the world and all that stuff, you know what I mean? And that's how my journey with Nirvana became. And it's really special to me because he was there, Nirvana was there, and I felt through the music that he understood me.
Yeah.
Deeply understood me. And I think that's the most beautiful thing about Kurt and Nirvana. I'm not trying to exclude his band because that was his baby. But I'm just saying that, 20 years later, we're having someone pick up right now it's a stream and feeling the same way that I felt.
Yeah.
And in a broken family, in an abusive home or wherever you came from, it means a lot. It means a ton to these kids. It means he's a legend, and that's what we call legends. And yeah, that's how I started my whole Nirvana journey. I was a Beatles fan at first, strictly Beatles. I was a weird kid. I was one of those weird kids where I was like, if you don't like the Beatles, I don't like you. And I was so like that. Like, I was really like that. Like, my first best friend, and I didn't really have very many friends. My first best friend, we got a hold of each other probably in my late 20s. And she was like, "Shh, I got to tell you something, Lennon." And I was like, "What?" She was like, "I didn't really like the Beatles." And I was like, "Excuse me?" But she was like, "I liked you so much. I don't know." But yeah, that's kind of how I was with music until I found Nirvana. Then my whole world just kind of opened up to all kinds of stuff. So Kurt Cobain did a lot for me, and I'm sure everybody else in this room.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lennon.
Thank
That was
you.
lovely. That was beautiful.
Thank you for sharing that stuff with me privately too. That was very very emotional. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sabrina, our darling from the UK. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your journey with Nirvana?
Yeah, I first started liking Nirvana at school. I didn't fit in. Everything I did, everything I liked, no one else did. But I didn't really care. I was 14 when Kurt died, but leading up to that, I used to do art and graphics, and I just used to scrawl all sorts on there from the lyrics, from Kurt's lyrics, and the more offensive, the better. It was black, and I'd write them on there with white Tipex. I was a bit of a rebel. Yeah, I liked him for a while. I liked the music. I'm just a typical grunge person, though, you know, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, all of that. When he died, it was a shock, to be honest. It was not something I expected at all. Of course, the narrative here was exactly the same as it is overseas. Suicide by gunshot. It didn't sit well with me. I didn't really have anyone to discuss it with very much because I was very much doing my own thing, but it stuck with me for so long that I just knew it was a murder. I just knew he'd been killed. And I think it was so damaging, if I think about it, when I was a child, that I didn't even want to look at any detail of it because it was such an injustice. So I avoided looking at the murder at all. I love his music. I listen to it all the time. That has never changed. A lot of the lyrics are, you know, they resonate with a lot of people in a lot of different ways. But yeah, for me, it was that. And funny enough, I happened upon people. I only joined Facebook for Marketplace. I needed a few things for the house. And next thing I knew, I was in a couple of groups. I then stumbled upon a couple of people who were equally frustrated with the lack of progress on the case. And I can't remember what the catalyst was, but there was something that was said or done in particular. And I think we, as a very small group at the time, decided to take matters into our own hands because it's just not on. So I accidentally became involved, and I knew the day I'd become involved, I would need to be able to do something about it, because otherwise there is no point. There is no point. I saw that gun, and it's funny enough, the gun is something that sticks with me, and I just saw it, and I just thought, there is no way. There is just no way. And I just couldn't look at the case again. But here we are now. I am an ex-corporate arsehole. I bring all my skills to the case. I'm actually doing something I want to do for the first time. I'm 46. I started to look into this last year or the year before. I can't remember now. So it took me like however many years that is, 30 years, to actually face this and look into it. And I just happened to come into it in this way. So it's a really good opportunity to have, and I'm really grateful to be able to have this opportunity to be on the team and do whatever I can, whatever I can turn my hand to, really. One of the things I'm not very keen on is being on screen. It is not something I'm very natural at or enjoy, but nonetheless, here I am. But yeah, I am very much behind the scenes. I'm going to cut it short because the things that I can do and stuff are pretty boring to the normal person. But yeah, I'm a punk at heart. I've never changed. It's nice shedding those suits. But yeah, I've gone back to my roots, I feel, and I'm really grateful to be helping Michelle out and having such a close relationship with her and the rest of the team. I really think a lot of positive things are going to come of this, and I can't wait for us to turn this on its head.
I'd
Yes.
like to, after everybody's been introduced, I'll tell you guys a story that I've actually never shared. It actually has to do with Courtney.
Oh,
And not me, not exactly me and Courtney, but it's something that I was going to share. It's bizarre. So anyway.
We can't wait. That's awesome. Hey, Tim, do you want to tell us? I mean, I don't think anybody here has met you before, Tim. So let's unmute you here, my friend. And I'll just let you all know that Tim and I have spoken, Tim, Rachel, and I, and he drove a limo for Courtney when she came back after the death of Kurt. So, Tim, if you want to unmute and tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe even your son's music, that would be lovely.
Hi, Tim.
Hi.
Good evening and welcome to the show. Thank you very much for having me. It's been a long day. My name is Tim. I became town car. Well, I grew up in Bellevue, Washington. I graduated from high school in 1980. By 1989, I was a limousine driver for Carrie Limousine, which was worldwide. Only she had a satellite office in Seattle. But yeah, I've been in Seattle all my life. I still do what I do then, and I still do it for my son today. I'm in Arizona representing my son tomorrow night on stage into a sold-out show, and he'll be there.
What?
But yeah, it's amazing. You guys don't know him. How exhilarating!
That's
But,
cool.
you know,
What band is
I
it?
first saw Kurt back in the Paramount Theater. I picked him up there, and I took him up to Linda's on Broadway, where he was dropped off. Well-known bar. But yeah, I was out at the airport the night of when she flew into town, and I've seen, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours podcasts since I've got to know Michelle over the last 3 weeks. It's a lot of podcasting, but yeah, everything is coming together very well to where everything goes back to pointing the picture at Courtney for doing a lot of damage to a lot of people.
Absolutely.
And yep. So if you guys have questions, let me know. I can fill you in.
What was your son's band's name? Or
What's that?
What's your son's band's name?
Neuropsychosis.
Miro?
Neuropsychosis.
Okay.
We'll put a link
I
in
love
the comments.
Eternally suffering.
Well, wow.
Yeah, baby.
And I woke up at somewhere around 4 o'clock this morning to start my day, and I had my son pick the shirt out that he wanted me to wear. And he had no idea until 11 o'clock last night that I would be where I am today. And because of technology, hey, we're all in the same room. Let's have some fun anyway.
Hollywood Square.
Tim, did you
Right?
Tim, did you say
Heck
did you
yeah.
say your son's playing somewhere tomorrow?
Yes, he's playing at the Nile Club in Mesa, California. Mesa,
Okay,
Arizona.
somebody just commented asking where it is. I guess they're local. And
So-
just didn't hear what you said.
We'll put a link to your son's band, Tim, after in the comments. So if you want to send that
it's at
to
the Nile Club tomorrow night, and I guess tickets are available. Come as you are. It's I was there last year. That's where he started. He was so good they invited him back.
Amazing.
And we're
Well,
going to talk
sounds
about
like
tomorrow
it. Sold
going to-
out.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of a cool place. It's kind of like if you guys remember the Off Track, or it's known as it's by Denny Way. What's the name of it? It's El Calzone. And my son is going to be there in Seattle on the 7th.
The off ramp. The off ramp. Yeah.
The off ramp, Patrick.
Yeah.
University Village is not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's changed name, but yeah, it used to be the off ramp.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
But
Cool. Thank you so much, Tim. And just for everybody, we're going to try to keep this light, but Tim and I are going to talk next week for any of your questions, about his situation, driving Kurt around, driving Courtney, Dylan, etc. So we're going to hopefully get him on to answer those questions. Lisa, I think most people know both you and I, but would you like to tell everyone a little bit about yourself and your journey?
So I got into the whole Nirvana thing a little different than most people. Like, I was one of the weird ones that was attracted to the heroin chic movement. And, I found what the media pushed to be glamorous, what we were to believe that Kurt's lifestyle was, this grungy, heroin addicted. It was cool to do these things. Like, my mom's always been a huge fan. I can remember being very young, like when this happened, and her saying that this wasn't what we're led to believe it was. As a couple of you guys were saying, about a year and a half ago, well, it's been a little over a year. It hasn't been quite a year and a half. There was somebody that had joined the groups. I think it was the bigger group at the time. And that was how I think we initially started doing this stuff. Was we were working with a guy that was making a documentary, and we were researching for that, and it just kind of branched off into all this. But yeah, that's how I got involved with it. Like, I can't say that it's been like strictly the music for me, or I kind of got attracted to it for different reasons, and it's evolved into something more since then. But yeah, my origin with it was a little different than most people's.
I think that's
Patrick,
what makes our team great.
Patrick and John, I want to read this before my phone dies. I just got this message for you guys. She said she tried to join, but it keeps kicking her off. Oh. She said, hi to Pat, John, Joe, and whoever else will be there, and let me know just how immensely grateful I am that they have come forward, and that I and so many others are not only touched they have come forward, but will forever be in debt to them for trying to help us all get justice for Kurt. It would mean the world to me if you could be able to say this on camera while you guys are live. So,
thank you.
That's Rachel B. I'm not going to put her last name out there, but
well, thank you, Rachel.
So I will just go last here. I think, Tim, I will add Tim back here. Okay, perfect. So I'll just go last. I think probably a lot of you know this because blah, blah, blah. My face is on all of this stuff. And I've told this story 1,000 times. But, I was a pretty big Nirvana fan in the early 90s. And I kind of always thought that there was something really weird about his death. But without social media and without other like-minded people, it just, wasn't something I kept thinking about. And then I was also playing music. So I kind of went to a different, side of music where I went to the more pop punk thing. And so always loved Nirvana, but, just didn't kind of keep up with it. I think at that time too, in the 90s, it was like going somewhere that felt more alive because, sorry, whose phone is that? Can we mute our phones?
Mine's on silent, I think. Let me look. It might be me.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. And so yeah. And then I think about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I got invested in it again. And at first I thought that Courtney had bullied and abused Kurt until he took his own life. And, sorry, just trying to make sure the volume is okay for everybody. Thank you, Yeti. Anyways. And so I saw, watched a few documentaries and started to realize that it wasn't that, she had just abused him until he took his life, but that, there were some forensics that really didn't make sense. And then I hooked up with Lennon and, being very Beatles lovers and we started working with Gary Cobain. And then I found Lisa randomly on a message board somewhere. And I was like, yeah, she seems to know what's up. I'm going to text this person and say like, hey, do you want to be friends? And she was like, sure. And then we met Joe and we started doing all of that stuff together. So I think we've got everybody. I did text Joe. Oh, let me see if Joe got back to me. Nope, not yet. So we're still waiting on Joe. Okay. Hopefully he shows up. We did switch this at the last minute. Joe has done Zooms with us before, but not StreamYard. So we love that shirt, Lennon. So let's go back and circle back around to you, John, and we'd love to hear your story.
This story is weird because it actually didn't get any publicity, because the people involved didn't want it to. I was in a band with a woman named Christina. I'm not going to say her last name because I don't think she really wants to be contacted, but I thought about contacting her to see if she is interested. Anyway, she was a backup singer in Courtney Love's band. Courtney Love had like some kind of a band called Courtney Love Band for a little while. Anyway, Christina was like a backup singer, and I think it was in the late 90s. Anyway, I was in a band with Christina in about 2005, 6, and there was a song that we played that Courtney stole from Christina. It was the lyrics and put it in her book. Okay. Well, Christina, and we had actually recorded, we played at the Crocodile and it was recorded. Okay. So that's important. So Christina sued Courtney and she had to prove that it was her lyrics, but Courtney stole the lyrics, said it was her lyrics, printed it in the book. It was a book that probably, I don't know exactly when it came out, but it was, I don't know, it would have been right around 2006, 2005, something like that. Anyway, and it was for real. Like literally, Christina, I mean, made a lot of money off it, like quite a few millions.
Oh,
And
the tangled web we weave.
he used the from the recording that we did to prove that it was, yeah. Anyway, I thought that had never been talked about, except the only little blurb was when she was on the Howard Stern show. It was about the right timing for when that would have happened. She talks about being sued if you listen to there's that moment. And I've watched, I'm like, God, I think that's probably the right timing. I mean, I'm friends with Christina. We don't talk a lot. I've actually been interested. She used to babysit Francis. I remember her telling me that. We'd have conversations.
Are you talking about the same Christina that Eric saw the night she died before she went back to Wisconsin?
I'm not sure. Wait, I'm lost there.
That was Kristen Pfaff that you're talking about, Tim.
Okay.
Christina was actually pretty young when I think she was about 18 when she sang backups with the Courtney Love band. She's saying she was like a backup singer, and I mean that's for real. It was anyway. I thought that was like, kind of an interesting story. Courtney Love did steal.
John, wasn't her
completely lost the lawsuit. She lost the lawsuit. Anyway,
wasn't the whole Courtney Love band timing? She was pretty young when that was going on, right?
Well, no, this would have been the late 90s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know it's like weird. Some band I can message Christina and find out the name of the band. Exactly.
For
it was
some
something
reason,
like,
I was thinking I read something like way before Hole, she was doing something like Young under that name, her own name.
Yeah, this was like the late 90s. Yeah. Anyway, but we were in a band in 2005, and I remember her telling me stories about babysitting Francis, and and how awesome Francis was. And Christina didn't have a lot good to say about Courtney. I remember that. Our conversations about Courtney back then weren't a lot, but I remember like, yeah. Anyway, I think Courtney actually like may have stolen ideas from a couple of other Christina songs. Anyway, I'll stop. I just want to show that. So it's bizarre.
Can I just say something? I just want to really say that it's been brilliant hearing a lot of the stories from Patrick, because I don't know whether I am alone in this or whether you guys have have felt it too, but I have always felt that Kurt was actually a really funny guy. You know, I mean, he didn't come across as moody, depressed, you know, I don't want to talk to people, and, you know, all this sort of thing. A lot of different things that I've seen of him, I just thought he was hilarious. I thought he was really funny, and I thought he was just kind of messing with people quite a lot of the time, you know. Like one of the interviews when he had his arm in a sling, and then he lights up a cig with, you know, with the arm, like, oh, my broken arm, you know, just all these wee funny things about him. And then whenever Patrick started talking about him, it was just like, yes, you see, he was like that. He was, you
He
know.
was after fame. I think more because, you know, when I knew him before, you know, before it was way more subdued kind of conversations. I mean, Kurt wasn't like depressed or anything. It was more like just, you know, we just kind of hanging out. And Kurt, I think part of it is who he was around, you know, would definitely, but there was also a confidence thing. Like once those guys became that well known, it was obvious that Kurt, not that he took advantage of it, but in a sense, he was like, you know, he could do whatever he wanted, in a sense, to say whatever he wanted. And he was more like, there was an openness that he could have finally, you know, and
he tapped into himself. I think he kind of
you know, because
himself.
it's like it's not that Kurt seemed extremely confident, you know, back in the late 80s, you know, no doubt about it. But he was also just you know, really pretty mellow all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. My experience is the same too. In the 80s up until Nevermind, it was much more like hanging out, just hang out, listen to music, whatever. But we still did some stuff.
Yeah.
Michelle, should I tell the water balloon story to everyone here and now? Yeah. Okay. All right. So I have a story for you guys. I was going to just tell it on some future one. We're hanging out at my place, and this is stupid, but okay. So we're smoking pot, and I didn't have a lot of money at this time, and to conserve my pot, I had these water balloons, and I would exhale into the balloon, tighten it, breathe normally, and then re-inhale, double up my whatever. It was stupid, but I had these balloons, and we had this brilliant idea. So we filled up a bunch of water balloons, and we go up to the roof of my apartment. My apartment is on 5th Avenue in downtown Seattle. It's just six floors tall, so it's not really a very tall building. It's on right next to 5th Avenue, which has the monorail on it. So you go up on the roof, and there's sort of like a little rooftop garden type of thing, and these railings, and the monorail's just right there. And we timed it. This was so stupid, but we thought it was really funny, where we would hide behind the stairwell thing, so like they couldn't see us, not that they cared. And then we would run out and run to the edge and just throw these water balloons at the monorail as it was going by. And then we'd wait and go around the back side of the thing and wait for it to come back the other direction and do it again. And finally, like after 2 or 3 times, the cops, like we saw the police sirens, and the cops came to my building, and he made a comment. This was the best. Lennon, you're going to love this. So he goes, wow, it's kind of like Let It Be. Should we just wait for the cops to come up here and bust us, or should we get out of here? I'm like, oh, let's get out of here. So we kind of go down, and there's like a back stairwell that we go down to my floor, and yeah, you hear the cops going up the main stairwell, but then just like the radios and stuff. But we just kind of go in my apartment and just start laughing and back to listening to some dumb record. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, we threw water balloons at the monorail, and since the police were called, there may even be a police report for that somewhere. So, and my building, if you want to find it, my building was at, I think, 2011 5th Avenue. It's the Virginia, the Virginia part. It's like between Lenore and Virginia. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, anyway, it was a fun time. It was absolutely silly. It was one of the goofiest things we ever did, but he just yeah, thinking back to that, like the look that's one of those things I wish we had camera phones back then, because we totally would have filmed us being stupid like that. And then it'd be like, see, this really did happen. It's like he was an actual human being who had fun. He had fun. Oh my God. Can we handle it? But yeah, that was pretty funny, because the monorail's just like, it sits like right kind of below my building, so or just like adjacent. You can kind of see the people going by, so they're like looking at us as we're like being in the thing with these. Anyway, that was a side of him that I definitely knew. But we also just hung out a lot, and like I said, watched Ren and Stimpy on VHS and other stupid things. So
your friend,
anyway.
Friend Sean, who I was in Subvert with, he was also friends with Tracy, but they were at a party after a show, and I guess when Sean fell asleep in the bathtub, and you know how people will draw like on you with permanent marker. Well, Kurt and Tracy drew dicks on Sean. And Sean tells a story, and he's laughing, and it was, and yeah, so that was like, I missed that, but I guess it was hilarious. I wasn't there. That's like something that's a practical joke that Kurt, I never experienced that I can think of. The only well, let's see. Definitely at Chris had kind of a after his wedding, there was a party at Chris Novoselic's house here in Tacoma. And
okay.
when I showed up, Kurt was fucking like blazed out, but he was on like outside. He had crawled out the window, and he was on like the roof that goes over the front door. He's like, John, what's going on, man? Hey, Ogre, friend. Me and Ogre showed up, and I'm going up. I'm in the kitchen. Kurt walks in through the window and like literally just steps in right in the cake. That's like right on the. I mean, he's just like walking on the table, just in the fucking cake, and like, Shelly and Chris. I mean, nobody's horrified. Believe me. I mean, it sounds horrifying, but everybody was just having fun. I mean, it really was like, but it was like moment like, what are you doing, dude? But yeah, Kurt would, when he drank a lot, which wasn't really that often.
Yeah, we never drank.
That would happen.
We never drank.
Yeah.
We would just hang out and smoke, maybe.
Shelly, I think, man, I would. Yeah, I know this. Shelly would have some really great stories, but it was difficult to be able to,
Well, see, Shelly was friends with Janine, who was my birth mother, but people thought she was my girlfriend, but she was my mother. But she and Shelly were friends, and so anyway, I'm speaking out of turn, but I'm going to attempt. She's on my list of people I'm going to attempt to reach out to, and I'm going to remind her about the Janine connection. Like, hey, this, we were connected. So anyway.
I think we were talking about this the other day as well. One of my favorite interviews of Nirvana is the one when they're all in the hotel bathroom, and Dave is in the bath, and Chris is pretending to take a dump on the toilet, and wiping his ass with Dave's socks, and every time Dave goes to wash his hair, Kurt's like pouring more shampoo on it and stuff. I thought that was one of the most hilarious interviews I've ever seen. It was just really, really funny. And I just thought that kind of showed there.
That's a perfect example of like his fearlessness. Once his fame, they didn't give a fuck. They would just do it, and that was beautiful because in the whole you know, and the whole rock system being so controlled, they were like, no, fuck you. We're gonna control ourselves and show that all of you can do the same thing. You can be your own freaking, you know, whatever you want to be. It's all right.
Yeah.
Quit school, you know, walk up to
Keep
the
your head,
escalator.
wear a dress. That one, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a really good one. And
What
then
do you want?
wearing dresses to the headbangers ball as well. I thought that was fantastic. You know?
Absolutely.
That's amazing. That's an amazing clip for sure. I love that.
What did you all think of Chad and Chad's drumming? You know, obviously Dave's an incredible drummer, but what did a few people are asking about Chad in the chat. So your recollections, John and Patrick, of who Chad was or is as a person, and also, you know, I thought his drumming was really cool. What about you guys?
Chad, that's amazing. Yeah. I mean, I think that, you know, Chad, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the North drums, but Chad had North drums, and those were super rare too. So that was like an oddity. And the fact that he played double bass, which was interesting, you know, it was like,
that was kind of rare. And also I like to point out to people, people always go, oh, Dave Grohl's so great. Fine. But In Bloom, that's a Chad part. And Dave learned Chad's part. That bum ba bum that's Chad. So Chad gets props for me all the time. And plus he was cool. I always liked him personally. So anyway, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
Chad's like, I mean, his whole you know, his whole like just way about him just was fit the band perfectly, you know. I mean, he's just like really good guy, really nice guy, you know, friend, like easy to get along with, very just like, you know, just somebody that I thought he fit the spot perfectly, you know, really at the time, you know, for sure.
You know.
Well, look who has joined us. Our good friend Joe has.
Joe!
Joe!
Hi, Joe.
How y'all doing?
Hi, Joe.
How are you?
Joe?
I'm all right.
Is that you, Joe?
I was cleaning my tennis shoes.
Is that really Joe?
No.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Hey,
It's been a while.
how y'all doing?
Hey,
This
I'm
is a
doing
trip, huh?
fantastic, Joe.
It's nice to finally meet you.
I didn't know I was going to do this. Sorry about this. I thought I was going backstage. Am I right on?
Yeah, sorry, Joe. We had to move it from Zoom at the last minute. So thank you for.
Okay. Yeah. Right on. Everyone's so small. It's hard to see.
Yes.
We're
So,
lagging
Joe,
really bad, guys.
Everyone's
Right
kind
on.
of done an intro. Can you tell us a little bit about? I mean, I think everyone knows who you are, but tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, about myself?
Please, yeah.
I'm 56. I like long walks on the beach, and no, I don't know. I'm just I was around in Seattle back to, you know, from like 87 to like 94, and I played in a couple bands. Yeah, but yep, my name is Joe Burns, and yeah, it's nice to see everyone.
That's awesome. Where's Thor, Joe?
I got a buddy out back here throwing the ball for him.
Oh, perfect.
I just found my phone, and I saw you sent me a link, and so I just hit it.
Perfect.
Right on.
Do you have a story about Kurt? We're all just kind of shooting the shit. Patrick and John have told a couple stories. You know, we've obviously talked lots about tattooing and hanging out with Kurt, and any sort of fun stories that you can think of, you know, just of Kurt maybe at a show, watching Aspirin Feast, something like that.
Did I interrupt anybody or something? I feel like I did. I didn't really mean to pop on like this at all.
All good.
No, I think I just got done talking. Yeah.
No,
No,
I'm
it's
sorry.
okay.
I missed it. I mean, literally, I was washing my tennis shoes in the bathroom, and I thought you sent me a link, and I hit it. Okay.
We're glad you're here.
Yeah.
Hey, can I hear someone else talk for 1 second? I'm a little thrown off guard
Yeah.
here.
That's okay. Yeah, for
You're
sure.
fine.
Oh, awesome. Hey.
Hey.
Hello, Joe. Hi,
Right on.
David.
Hey,
Hey,
Joe.
Joe, I got a question for you in front of everybody in the group.
Oh, I see where I am. Hey.
Joe,
Okay.
I got a question
Man.
Go
in
for
front
it,
of
Tim.
everybody in the group.
Oh, the who?
Well, I was the limo driver for the whole function and everything. But I was just wondering, would you tattoo a lightning bolt on the side of my head?
On the side of your head? Yeah, totally. Let's do it. That sounds cool. I got a few tattoos on my head. It's a trip. Yeah, I got you.
Awesome.
Way more than a trip. Believe that. Yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk about that.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Hey, John. So you and Joe have met before. Joe, do you remember meeting John? Maybe you could sort of give him a reminder, John.
Yeah, the last time I saw Joe was at the Cockney Rejects. I was on Cockney Rejects and Angry Samoans.
Oh, nice. That's a good show. Hell yeah. Everyone's so small, it's hard to see.
I know. I don't know if there's a way to change the layout. Okay, if I change the
Get really
layout,
close.
if I
That's
change
a
the layout,
damn good show.
can you see me or can you see the person talking?
They're tiny now, and then I can see you big.
Okay.
Yeah.
we don't want that.
Just
see
Hold on.
you.
We don't want that. Okay, hold on.
There you go.
Okay. There we
Let
go.
me see. Right on. Cockney Rejects, that's a hell of a good show. Angry Samoans.
In Portland.
Angry Samoans, the first time I seen them, it was at Satiricon, and Jerry A threw a glass ashtray at the bass player. He barely deflected it with his bass. He threw it all the way across the Satiricon. It was exciting. But yeah.
Was that with the Broken Bones? I think no, maybe.
It's Satiricon. It was like Angry Samoans and Youth of Today, I think.
Okay, no, I didn't.
Yeah, Youth of Today would only play the matinee show because they didn't want to play the show at night with people drinking. Yeah, straight edge. Right. This is interesting. Cool. Who was talking?
I have
Adelie?
for Joe.
Okay, go for it.
Joe,
Who?
on my T-shirt it says "eternally confused." Are you eternally confused?
Me? Well, probably.
I wanted to say
Confused.
I
Because
wanted to say something about Chad drumming. Again, I didn't say I always thought like so he was filling the spot after the tape that the recording that Dale did with Nirvana, right? There was the reciprocal recording. So Chad filled, but then because of Chad's style, they actually changed kind of the sound a little bit because instead of Chad's not going to try to follow up and play exactly what Dale played, so they wrote all new songs. So Kurt, in a sense, like a lot of the songs were completely different than the songs that were on the first tape. So that's something because you had asked me what I thought about Chad. So in a way, Chad's drumming actually helped progress the band to like a bleak sound, even that of course Kurt wrote all the songs. That was that was kind of yeah. Anyway, I wanted to add that in. That was important.
That's definitely the drummer changes everything, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, Dale's an awesome.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. Dale taught me my first double bass. He taught me how to play at Hello Waits. I was like 15. It was a Noxious Fumes, in the Melvins, the Tropicana, and he had the old like double bass set up, and I think he was playing at Hello Waits. And I asked him, show me. Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Hell yeah. With those big old sticks. Drums. Yeah, definitely. Fucking awesome drum. I just saw him. He just played here in Portland. His flow. Replay. Yeah.
Cut it out, Joe.
I'm sorry.
You sound like a robot.
I'm in the bathroom.
Oh.
You're in the bathroom.
I came in here literally to watch. Yeah, it said I was going backstage, and it says you're in the show, and everyone can see and hear you. Brutal. But yeah, fucking A. Right on. It's super nice to see everyone. This is just awesome. It's very cool.
Yeah, we should do this more often. I think it's really lovely to everyone to see everybody's face. And Joe, I know people ask us all the time how you're doing, and you know, you look so healthy these days. So I love that people can see how you're doing now. And I did want to add everybody that if anybody would like to donate to Joe specifically, please just send a donation and we'll make sure Joe gets it.
That's very kind. Thank you. I'm cool. I mean,
Is there
yes.
anything in particular that you need, Joe? Is there anything that you need in particular, or just?
No, not really. I'm all right. Particular, I don't know, just living.
Okay.
Okay,
That's cool.
Yeah, I went and got some pajama pants today. I'm pretty stoked on that. I'm wearing them right now. Yeah.
Are they fleecy?
Yeah.
So am I, Joe.
Do you ever talk to Sean? You ever talk to Sean Durand anymore, Joe?
Sean who?
Sean Durand.
From Subvert?
Yeah.
I saw him. He's playing in 13 Scars, and I ran into him.
That's
we
where
hung
I saw
out.
you last.
The what?
That's where I saw you last.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You're so tiny, man. I mean, from the screen.
That was like 10 years ago.
Okay, yeah. In downtown Portland.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, like okay.
But you haven't seen him since then. That was my. You haven't seen Sean since then?
Well, I've seen him like once or twice since then. He came up and we went to a strip bar that is, he knew the owner, and we drank all night and sang karaoke with the strippers and drank way too much whiskey. And I couldn't get my key in the front door of my house. And the neighbors, after watching me for like an hour, and took me in their house and let me warm up. I couldn't get the key in the damn door.
Damn. You're cutting out. Ah! Joe,
you went metal. You're going completely metal.
You went completely froze.
Right. You're back. Are you there? No? Yeah. Even the robot, Lynn.
Been listening to too much Skinny Puppy.
Okay, well, I want. Okay, so it was Sean on that tour, Joe, that when I had seen Soaked in Bleach on that tour, And he reminded me, it's like, oh yeah, I remember Joe. We just saw him in Portland. Well, Joe used to hang out at the house. At Cobain's. Oh, we lost him. Crap. Well, anyway.
So maybe he'll get a better signal.
In a moment. But anyway, yeah. So.
Okay, cool.
Nice
So we'll
to
wait
see
for.
you. It was really nice to see Joe. See him
Yeah.
looking so good, wasn't it?
It really was.
Yeah,
It
he
was nice
looked
to
good.
finally actually meet him.
Yeah.
I think
He
he's
looks
popping
really
back
good.
on here now. I think maybe he went outside. I'm going to add him back. 2 seconds. There we go. We got you back, Joe. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm going outside. Hey, puppy, come on. Yeah, I'll sit out here with my dog. I get better
Perfect.
reception probably.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, yes.
But anyway,
Come
yeah,
on.
Joe.
Come on, Thor.
Yeah, you sound clear.
Joe.
Okay,
it was
nice. That was a
Sean
really
that told
that was
me.
a heavy duty bathroom.
Yeah.
There's hey bud.
Aw.
That was my dog.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's gorgeous.
He's fucking awesome. Hey Thor. Come here, buddy. How you doing, bud? Come here. He knows he won't let his picture be taken though. Hey buddy.
Oh, he's gorgeous.
Oh,
Love you too, buddy.
look at that face.
He's a good one. Hell yeah. Oh shit. Sorry. Yeah, I totally cut out there in the bathroom there. Oh yeah, so what about Sean?
So it was on that tour in 2015 that when I told Sean that I had just watched Soaked in Bleach, okay? And I told Sean about it. He was like, "Oh man, you got to talk to Joe Burns. We just ran into Joe in Portland because Joe used to go do tattoos at Cobain's house." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, he used to hang out there and do tattoos with whoever. I don't even know if Sean knew who Callie was, but he remembered that he used to go over there." And so that was like a really weird synchronicity for me.
Man,
It was very
Sean has
strange.
the best memory
Then
ever.
I got a hold of you. I got a hold of you when I got back from the tour, and we communicated some. Anyway, yeah.
Oh yeah. No,
yeah,
I
it was
remember
great,
that. Hell
you
yeah.
know? Yeah.
You know, Sean's the person to talk to, man. That guy has just an amazing memory. Great guitar player, great memory. He's awesome, man. I love that guy.
Yeah.
Have you talked to him lately?
When the first recording of Subvert had only been released on a demo tape and on CD, and it was released on vinyl. And I talked to him then, and I sent him some copies, and he seems to be doing all right, you know.
Nice.
I'd like to talk to him more, but he's like one of those people that changes phone numbers all the time.
Yeah.
All of them, and he doesn't go online very much.
Right. Oh shit.
I was telling everybody about this story that Sean had told me, where he was at a party, and Kurt Cobain and Tracy Miranda were there, and Sean fell asleep in the bathtub, and Kurt and Tracy drew like dicks on, like with a marker, a Sharpie on Sean, and Sean like tells the story. He has to tell the story. It's way funnier because he woke up and found out, and it was like funny, but it was also like
That's awesome. Hell yeah.
like funny.
Yeah, I
but
missed that.
also
Whoever fell
like,
asleep got it. Indeed. That's all. You know who used to get written on a lot was Dr. Pussy back in the day. You remember him?
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh
he
man,
passed
that kid
away.
would fucking fall asleep, man. Oh man.
Yeah.
It was terrible. One time we played with Neurosis. It was Aspirin Feast and that band from Portland. The real English like. Oh shit. Not Resist.
Deprived? Was it Deprived? Was Deprived?
Oh, Deprived. Yes, Deprived and Aspirin Feast and Neurosis. And that's when Mike Aragon from Deprived got stabbed by the skinhead. We all went and visited him in the hospital the next day, but Dr. Pussy fell asleep, of course, first, and he got dicks everywhere and bean dipping his belly button and everything in his ears. Yeah, it was bad. But that kid, man, he got more dicks on his face than anyone I've ever known.
It was like, I mean, it was the thing. You didn't want to fall asleep, you know.
No.
At the party. Like, yeah, it was bad.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
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 Right on. Oh man. Yeah, but mostly, you know, fucking with doing the tattoo work, Kurt would usually cruise over to my place. I did tattoos a little bit over at his place, you know, like on Cali, but mostly he was at my place while I was tattooing, you know. He watched me give a lot of tattoos. And he was always like, I'm gonna get one from you. But I never did give him one. Yeah. But he watched me give a lot of tattoos. It was funny. A few people I tattooed were like tripping out that Kurt was watching them get a tattoo. But and that was pretty fucking funny sometimes. But yeah, and he would have his kid over, you know, and I'm just giving.
Well, you know, Kurt was an amazing artist. Amazing. You know, and I would think that that's one reason he would be wanting to watch, you know, the process, because he probably was interested in that, you know, that artistic medium on either to do it on himself. I mean, it seems realistic, you know. I mean, that's like if you have somebody, you know, teach you how to do something like that. Yeah, because Kurt was definitely an amazing artist. Amazing. You know, I think that's something that's not talked about very much, that, you know, I mean, it was a medium that he only really got to visit, you know, I mean, like when he was younger, but because music really was pretty much took over all his time pretty much, you know, not a lot of time to I don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah, I'm sure he did draw and stuff, right? I mean, like, you might, you know,
yeah.
I mean, later on, it's just like you once in a while somebody has a drawing he did or a painting or something like that, but they're very far and few out there.
He drew comics too. He had these comics that he would draw, and yeah. And we would go down to, sometimes there were a couple times where he and I would walk. So my apartment, like I said, was on 5th between Lenore and Virginia. So we could just walk straight to the market, and we go to the comic shop in the market and look at like bizarre comics, and he would just, you know, we did that like twice or 3 times that I remember, that, you know, just, this was before fame though. So people didn't, you know, care about us wandering around there. But yeah, he would always dial into like, oh, look at this weird old horror comic or something like that. Just some bizarre, like, you know, little off the beaten path. But he would draw these comics too, and yeah, they're very cool. He'd like bring them out and show you, like
Mr. Mustache. You know, like there's the Mr. Mustache comic, right?
Yep.
Well,
yeah.
I don't, you know, I mean, whatever, you can have a mustache, don't have a mustache, it doesn't matter to me. But Chris looks kind of like the Mr. Mustache now. You know? Doesn't he? I mean, he does. I don't know.
A little bit.
That's what Kurt would say. You'd probably be like, Chris, you look like Mr. Mustache. Oh wait, you are Mr. Mustache. Sorry.
Oh, you're glad I muted my mic. I have a boisterous laugh. We'll just put it that way, and I would have blown out everybody.
We have someone new joining the chat. This is our good friend Jason Ward from Australia. Jay, do you want to come in and say hello? I think some of you already know him, but let's just unmute his microphone. Okay.
Howdy, guys. Obviously from Australia. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon here, so I'm well and truly allowed to have a beer on a Friday before anyone is too worried about me. But look, I just wanted to jump in and say g'day. Obviously, I've been a fan. I was 21 in 94, so I was a massive fan since It was actually Soundgarden did it for me. I walked into a record store and heard Flower in 1990 and thought, what the fuck is this? Why am I listening to Poison? I need to be all over this new shit that I'm hearing. So that was it. I've travelled to Seattle a few times. I did a radio show in Australia here that was all based on grunge, garage and punk rock. Got lots of friends in Seattle. And interesting looking at, obviously, you guys' profiles as we've connected on Facebook. There's lots of mutual friends, which is really cool. It blows me away sometimes when, you know, obviously Patrick, we've become Facebook friends recently, and you look on there and you got like 8 mutual friends, and like, how the fuck does this dude in America have 8 friends the same as me? And then some people are like 40 odd friends. You're like, how is that a thing? It's an amazing community.
It's more like how do we not know you already kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. Well, I've been coming to Seattle for 10 years now, and made really, really good friends with Dwayne from Derelicts and, you know, Cameron Ross as well. Cam obviously was friends with Kurt back in the day. They grew up in Aberdeen, and he did some roadieing for him the first time they toured Europe. So Cam's got lots of stories. He's still really good friends with Kim. They hang out every fortnight. He's helping Kim through lots of trouble she's going through. So I get lots of insight that I'm not allowed to share, unfortunately. I've shared a lot, or more than I probably should, with Michelle and Lisa, but obviously I trust them as confidants. But yeah, lots of the questions on the page, it's very hard not to answer when people are rubbishing Kim or rubbishing Francis, and there's lots of stuff I can't share that I want to. And basically my short answer is fuck off, you know, but there's a longer answer to all of that.
Hey, I'd like to share some pictures of Kurt with you guys, since it's Kurt's birthday. And I'll put him up here so you can see him. So this is Tracy gave these to me in 1995. So there was a party in Tacoma, and she had pictures that she made prints. So these are prints.
And, that's great.
And she made these prints for like a few friends, and she gave these to me. So this is one. That's one
of my favorites.
And then this one, you've probably seen this one here.
Yeah.
It's cool. That one's. This is one that I actually another friend. She was a manager, Tam. I think she was a manager for Nirvana for a short period of time, but she gave me this one. There's this one here.
Very cool.
Does that say where that was at? Oh, underground Seattle.
Yeah.
One more here. Pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love those.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
I
that's
really
awesome.
should frame them.
That's so cool.
I actually pinned them up on my wall years ago, but anyway.
All right, guys, I'm going to jump out. I noticed you can only have 10 people, so I'm probably taking Joe's spot at the moment. So I'm going to jump out, but it was great to see Thor. So I just thought I'd share with you if you can see him. Rocky's come to visit.
Oh,
yeah. Hey, buddy.
So Rocky's hanging out. He's my little mate. But yeah, absolutely fucking love to you all. Amazing work you're doing. And as always, if you need anything, you all know where to find me.
Nice seeing you.
Take care. It's nice to see you.
Rock.
See y'all.
Cool. Where's that photographer Peterson and all this? So John and Patrick, you both know Charles Peterson.
No,
I
didn't. No.
You didn't know him? Oh, okay. Patrick.
I don't think I've ever. I maybe have met him briefly, but you know, we were probably in the same room many times, but I didn't know him.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know him well, but I knew him. Like, you know, we know each other.
Yeah. So when was the last time you spoke to him, Patrick?
90s.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day.
Did anybody?
Maybe not much after Kurt died. It was one of those things. A lot of people we would see each other like at my tower, and you kind of can't avoid each other, whatever. But it's not like we were avoiding each other, but no one wanted to talk about it. And it was kind of the elephant in the room, and the elephant took up most of the room. So, yeah, like I said, the last time I saw Dave Grohl, was in my tower, and I just go around the corner and there he is. And it just was like, oh, sorry, man. Sorry. And it was just this, I mean, that's exemplifies like 90% of the conversations around that time. It's just like a knowing kind of like, oh yeah, and uncomfortable like apology of like, oh, sorry, and then wandering off. Anyway, sorry. I made the mood all nice and light now, didn't I?
You're okay.
Yeah. Okay, so just seeing if there are any other questions. Joe just sent me a message and said he's trying to reconnect. And then I thought maybe Joe, John, Patrick, and I could all do a podcast at some point. Make it a little smaller. He said he'd love to do that. And he said, give everyone my love and all that, please. I'll keep trying to get logged back in. So.
Did they have any questions about Charles Peterson in particular?
No, somebody just asked, I believe, where Peterson was at. I will say that members of our team had tried to talk to Charles Peterson, and nasty is putting it mildly. So I understand that what it's like to lose someone. I understand what that's like, but he was very, very unkind.
I'd like to share something about that I've sensed is that I think that a lot of people that knew Kurt don't really think that it's probably a healthy way to reflect on, because it's like there's no actual resurrecting Kurt. Okay, there's no bringing him back, and whatever happened. My experience, I mean, that's a freaking heavy, and it changed my life relating to Kurt's death, and that's why I mean, I strongly still feel that anybody that knew Kurt, knew him, would not hurt him at all. There's no fucking way. So that's an important point, is that people that knew, I mean, they're just not going to believe it because they knew Kurt, and they know, like, why the fuck would anybody ever hurt Kurt? Why? Right?
I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, but that makes sense, right? I mean, because
I mean, for people that cared about him, but some of the people that were around him, he was telling me that some of the people that were around him, he didn't totally trust, and he wasn't.
That's my point, though, is that if anybody hurt him, it's just somebody that didn't know him. Okay.
Yeah.
That's where I was getting at.
Okay. Yeah. Good point then. That's dead on.
I mean,
because you knew him. He was very lovable. He was very lovable and personable, and at least to me, I just felt he was very. Yeah. Of course, I wouldn't. I would have stepped in front of a bus for him. So I mean, no,
I went down this rabbit hole, and it's been fucking weird. If I got into that right now, it would take an hour. We don't have another hour. I mean, it's like weird beyond just belief. It's like shit that's happened to me. I mean, you guys have read, both Michelle and Lisa have read stuff that I've written in this. A book that eventually I'll get done, but I mean, it's like it's like life weirdness that is beyond just, anyway, so, I mean, I think somebody, there's a lot of people that they were friends with Kurt, but no matter what you do, no matter how much you try to convince them to believe this or believe that, they're just not going to care. They're not. I mean, it's nothing. It's not they don't care about Kurt. It's that they don't want to go
deal
there.
with it.
They don't want to go there.
It's a really hard thing.
Get it. I
Go
get
ahead,
it. I
Rachel.
really do, because I have friends that knew Kurt. You know,
So I think
bring it
I
up,
just wanted to chime in here for a quick
you
second.
know.
I just want to say, I think for the people that knew him, it's willful blindness to the facts because it's too painful to even consider. And so I think they purposefully try to avoid it and just stay with what's most comfortable and what's known to them.
That's a good point. And
Yeah.
to that point, I would say to them directly, I would say I had to deal with that too. That I had to pull myself out of like any, like, it's hard to deal with it face to face. And like, you got, but what are you, like I said, what are you going to deny it? You're going to just say, oh, no, no. And some people are even like, murdered or suicide, I just don't want to deal with it. Like it's not even, the verdict isn't even necessarily important to them. But I think once we show that it was not him doing it to himself adequately, like, and literally the official narrative changes, then all of a sudden you're in a situation where even the people that are like, I just don't want to deal with it, let's say, I'm going to try and talk to Charles myself, so I don't want to necessarily lump him on that. But sure, as up to this point, Charles Peterson, because A, I know he's seen the video with me talking, and B, he did not unfriend me. And and we have interacted, but not about this. And so I personally want to like reach out to him. But anyway, the naysayers, some of those people are just going to have to come around later. They're just going to, after the fact, they're going to have to deal with it because it's too painful to deal with it now as the wave is approaching the shore. But you know, some of us are going to surf, some of us are getting on that wave and we're going in. And you know, I don't know what to say. The people that are floating too scared to get on the wave, I get it. I understand.
Scared,
there's a lot of pain.
It's
a lot of pain to deal with.
Scared. I just don't think, you know, I think there's pain, but there's also like, you know, I mean,
fear of dealing with pain. That's what I mean.
It'd be interesting to hear like what Matt, you know, somebody like Matt Lucan, what he thinks, you know, or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know if you've experienced this, but I've experienced a lot of people with anger. Like you discuss this topic with them and they get like enraged.
Yeah, I mean,
Charles Peterson is one of them.
really rude things, and then it's like a level of denial that's like, you know, well, I just know he's stuck chucking and blew his head off. All right, now what the fuck, you know, or something like that. I'm like, okay, whatever, man, you know. I mean, it's like, you know,
where you can't even get to the point of like, okay, let's talk about this rationally. Like, let's discuss.
You just don't do it. You don't engage, right? You don't. I mean, it's like, I'm not gonna worry about it. And I really, honestly, I don't want to try to convince anybody. You know, anybody that's gonna really like think that something or figure out what happened or whatever, are gonna do it on their own. You know, you can introduce whatever to them, and sometimes if the person is already like wants to learn more, then great. But if they don't, then you can try. It's not going to fucking matter. You're not. You know, you're going to waste time.
Yeah, denial. People have been in denial for 30 years now.
And they'll continue.
That's something we need to kind of consider. Denial can be quite strong in people as well. Some people go through their whole lives in denial. In fact, they don't want a mirror held up to them at any point because the truth's just too much to bear. And that even comes to their own lives. You know, you then think about the fact that you potentially could help with this situation, but then that denial bubble is so comfortable. People would rather stay there and mind their own where it's safe and warm until the time, I think, comes. Now, time will come because, you know, physics don't lie, forensics don't lie. There are things that will come out that you will read and see, and you will realise there is nothing, you cannot deny what's occurred here. And I think that's the time when there's going to be people having to do a little bit of soul searching, and really think, my conscience is, important. Sitting in this denial bubble, trying to go after other things to satisfy that kind of world that they're in. I think, there comes a point when you have to just be honest and truthful, and you have to clear that conscience before you shuffle off this mortal coil, because you lie on that bed and there are things will come to you on your deathbed, and they won't be very pretty if there are things in your psyche that you haven't settled. And you really don't want to carry on that's the next life, do you? I wouldn't say, but like, as I say, it's going to be a bit of an eye opener for people that have been in this state for 30 years. And I think it is gentle. So I think, Patrick, you're very well placed to do this kind of reaching out to people, because you're empathetic and you understand and you can connect on that level. And you've experienced it yourself. So I think you're probably one of the best people to reach out, aside from Michelle, to people. I just think that's something we need to consider. I don't actually blame these people. It's not easy.
No.
Obviously, we can feel really frustrated at times with it, but at the same time, it's not us in that situation. I know what I do. Personally, I know what I've done in situations that haven't been ideal. I don't care about rocking that boat at all. So I'm very different, and everyone's very different. So I respect that. But yeah, I think you're great, Patrick, for this role. Beverly is also our sweet talking, beautiful Irish woman.
Thank you.
I
think the genuine side of the team is coming through as well. Michelle, Beverly, yourself, Patrick, Rachel as well. Everyone's very genuine here. Leonard, sorry if I'm forgetting anyone. And I think that's going to come through as well with some of the work we go forward and do. So yeah, I just want to say that it's easy to judge, but I think there is a point that people will come forward. But that's my little 2 pence.
I do think some of the old friends that knew me and knew Kurt, like people from the rock scene back then that also knew me, I don't think they're going to be surprised that that I stepped into this first or right away. They knew that we were friends. A lot of these people knew we were friends. A lot of these people also knew that I don't know. Like I said before, I don't feel like I have as much to lose. I'm not like a famous person trying to protect my position or have a record contract that if my label drops me, I'm going to owe them $1 gazillion. A lot of these people are in situations where it's not even that they have to consider how they personally feel about this. They have to consider all this other crap and all the business side and like the public perception, or look at what happened to Dave Grohl as someone outside of, a child outside of his marriage, and boom, his social status like immediately radically changed. He goes from the cool guy in rock to like persona non grata. And so I know people are worried about that. And I know the long from 94 forward, but not to today, really, the long-standing thing has been that this is kind of a conspiracy theory, like a JFK thing or aliens at Roswell or something. And it's like, sure, whatever, maybe, but all those things maybe, but in this particular case, this is super weird, and not weird because of it's weird because they did a sloppy ass job, and thank God they did. They did a sloppy ass job at what they're doing, and we're figuring it out. And now all it takes is just like the step between our knowledge and then the world kind of and the official verdict being going like, oh yes, gavel gavel, yes, you're right, it was a murder. Even if no one is charged, they should be. That's a different thing. But getting that verdict shifted getting the public's perception shifted, suddenly people are like, oh, well, what was Kurt Cobain like if he wasn't suicidal? Oh, he was actually just, and there we go, you know. So anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hijack it.
No, that was perfect, Patrick. And I want to say respectfully, I don't really give a fuck what people think about what happened, you know, whether Kurt committed suicide or took his own life. It's been 30 years and it's about time to stand up for him. And, you know, if somebody in my family, I've had people in my family commit suicide. You're damn right. I would be there. I would be podcasting. I would be writing books. I would be doing every damn thing I could to get that person justice. And it's a travesty that people are not standing up for Kurt. So sorry, I'm getting a little bit worked up, but
I think a lot of people do stand, you know, I mean, for example, it's like, you know, standing up for Kurt and talking to very specific people. Some friends get it. You know,
sure.
But then some friends don't. You know, I have a friend that totally, like, you know, I mean, he was on board, completely felt like something happened. Well, he asked Tracy in person. I wasn't there. He asked her, do you think, okay, this is a woman that lived with Kurt for 5 years. Yeah. And I'm not saying that this, I asked her, do you think Kurt would have killed himself or did kill? And she said, well, there is a possibility, you know, based off, you know, I mean, it's like,
but you know, I used to like, my other path in life would have been into astrophysics. So I'm very science also. And the thing is, possibility and probability are very different. Possible, yeah, sure. But 0.0001% possible is not a heavy probability. And when we start having a gun flip that is an extremely rare event, a bullet that should eject that's rare, when you start adding up things.
I'm going to make a point. I'm not.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that. All I'm trying to say is that's like from somebody that was close to you. I mean, are you going to be able to convince? You know, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like people are going to be. You know,
they just have to arrive on it on their own. They almost have to. It's almost like it has to be a done deal.
I'm saying I don't want you guys to get me wrong. You know, I think you're thinking that I'm not on board. I don't. No, believe me, I've gone way down the rabbit hole, you guys. I mean, way down.
I think the approach that we're taking is different. I'm very scientific as well. We really are looking at facts. Not hearsay, not maybe. We are peeling everything away to bring facts to people, and we're talking things you can't really argue with. You know, it's 2 + 2 is 4. Really, there is no debate about that.
That's
some people might say 5, and that's nice, but it is 2 + 2 is 4. We are at that point, I think, where we're able to start bringing things together in that way, which will aid you in having people understand that it is physically impossible for anything we've said not to actually be based on fact. You know, we're measuring things, we're looking at things, we're not going, maybe, you know, we're saying actually this is what we found. And you take those few points that are, you know, all right, the sky is blue, you know, so this is the level we're at. Irrefutable, if you like. You know, I'd like to say more, but this is not appropriate at this time. But I think you will be armed with factual information that people can't really deny. And what people need to do is sort of set it aside and say, if this actually happened to anybody else, would it be treated like this? Or would you actually consider maybe there is a possibility that it's wrong and he did not commit suicide? You know, there's this really weird thing around Kurt where there's a lot of hostility. I've noticed it over the years. I know it's 30 odd years that it's been. I've never seen anybody in the public eye be treated in the same manner as Kurt. Now, if he had committed suicide, 90% of people that do that in the public eye get sympathy. Okay, we understand it. We feel the reasons, we feel the pain. They're not persecuted for it. So I don't understand that. And I don't think if it was any other celebrity that they would be treated in the same way. You know, I mean, I can't think of any examples, not very anecdotal, unfortunately. But there are plenty of people that have passed away by the similar means that people have not spoken in the same manner.
Interesting case. Marilyn Monroe is an interesting case. Marilyn Monroe. You know,
Robin Williams killed himself.
So bizarre. Marilyn Monroe is very, very bizarre.
That's it. You know, everyone else, we understand, and we put that, we have a bit of a sympathy towards them, but it's never been the same for Kurt, regardless. Obviously, the suicide thing isn't correct, but I'm just sort of trying to sort of say, in comparison to others, I've not really seen this hostility, because everyone else would say that's a little bit out of line to be talking about somebody like that.
Yeah,
I'd like to see the day all of this stops. The copycat suicides would break his heart. From what I've understood about, he did not like people emulating him in any way, or doing drugs, etc. Or he tries to keep it as low as he could. To know that there have been people that have done the same, and there have been people, I mean, I was reading comments today on YouTube, somebody said there was 83 odd people, I think there's probably more, they've actually named Kurt in their suicide note, and they've said, I want to do the same. Now, Kurt would be, if he had a grave, would be turning in it, because it's the opposite of what he was. Personally, I can't wait to see all of this narrative switched over, to be corrected for his legacy, for his daughter, for his granddaughter, for anyone who's lost somebody in the same way, for anyone who's had people go onto hard drugs and lost them. All these people are owed, as well as Kurt. So, I think for him, that's all I want to make sure happens. The narrative is corrected. All his damage can't be undone, but, something has to come out of this where he's vilified and it's not right. So, yeah, the truth will come out, and it will be factual, and it cannot be denied. And it will come out, and it might upset people, but I don't really care. I'm with Michelle, really. I don't really give a shit about people's reasons for it, but that's the moral side of things, which I know everyone's the same, but I would not be able to live it down if this happened to somebody I cared about or even knew. If I knew the truth, there's no way I'd sit on it. I don't care who's threatening me. Do you know what I mean? Come at me, mate. So, but that's just me, and I'm from London, so it's a bit different.
Patrick, John, do you guys think that this might, like, for some of these people that are still like involved in the industry, do you think it's more so that they're afraid of being blackballed for speaking out on this, like getting involved with the conspiracy stuff, rather than being afraid of who may have done this?
Sure, especially I would say I know you guys have been doing it for a while, and all that, but I would say we're still in early days. And when it starts getting in the court systems, when it starts getting actual publicity on CNN and everything, then there's again, some people are going to probably wait till they hear the verdict. Like, they're just going to wait and watch. Even people that might be closer involved that could have theoretically helped. I personally can't stand by and and just not help anymore. I like I was saying, it doesn't matter that I was already on a path and I was going to do my whole music thing. That doesn't matter. I took 2 or 3 of your videos of watching you, Michelle, and I was like, no, I have to do this. I have to at least try. And thankfully you guys embraced me and brought me in, and now I feel like I can actually do something. And so I kind of want to impart that to some of the people that might be on the fence, like, especially that maybe knew me or knew him. And if they knew me, they would know I wouldn't get involved with something that was half cocked or some crazy ass thing. I just I think a lot of people this is not an ego thing, but a lot of people would trust my opinion when they would come to Tower over a decade, the entirety of the 90s, come in and not just Kurt, they would be like, what do you have for me? What? And I would remember, my brain is, I remember your face, fuck your name, I cannot remember your name, and the music you like. I remember your face and what music you like. So if John had come in, I would remember, oh, you like Scratch Acid and that Killing Joke record. Here's this band called Failure you might like. Here, something like that. I do that to people all the time. So it's that relationship that was built back then, even though it was on movies and music, that I still have with these people, as well as like back in the day where I used to play in the clubs and they would play and all that. So it's like, I'm hoping that as I talk to people, we kind of get more people and it's just not like, oh, Buzz is over there and he says this, but he's all the way over there. Like, I want to get people in on this. And so it's a group kind of circled wagons kind of going, this is what's going on. And I'm grateful that I get to be part, and I'm going to try and help build this community. And it doesn't matter if I'm one of the first people stepping in.
I think it's important to really understand that every person that we ever meet in life, everybody we ever known, is very, very different. Very different. We're all very different. And that's an enlightening thing in life, because you can see whenever you run into somebody, why I say this is that also goes with how people take in information, whatever it is, and how somebody deals with something, I mean, it's like dealing with death, it's like, right now, part of my, I feel like part of my life is like, just, I mean, I'm always like right on that edge. Like, I just had an old friend, like somebody I've known for 41 years, a musician, and he just died, it's just like, God damn it, so it's hard, it's hard. And also being concerned about something, like, I'm not going to stop feeling like, I mean, I have feelings about what happened to Kurt, and it's never going to stop, and I've talked very, very closely with Lisa and Michelle about it. I'm a very private person. I mean, this is like getting me, it's like, when it comes to talking about stuff like this, it's of course difficult,
Yeah.
And people like Carol, people like Dylan, somebody like Dylan knew Kurt, what the fuck happened? What happened? Who told you not to say? Has he ever talked about Kurt? Really? Besides in the Kurt and Courtney documentary, it's like, or Callie. I mean, you knew. Why don't you even talk about a little bit or something?
They obviously have a reason.
Go like, yeah, I hung out, right? So that's where I am. I want you guys to understand, I am on board, but when it comes to really important people that need to speak, we got to be realistic about that.
Of course.
I mean, people have died, they're gone, or they're, I mean, not doing well or whatever, right? even Courtney. I mean, is Courtney even doing? I don't even know if she's doing well. You know, it's like
Well,
that need
she was
to-
in Hollywood last week, so
I was gonna say, isn't she back in the States?
Oh,
I'm pretty
Lord.
sure she's in the States.
Anyway, I hope
Yeah.
you guys understand where I'm coming from. It's like you listen to the phone calls. I mean, that's what fucking got me is the phone calls that Tom Grant. I mean, you hear those close.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. I started crying, you guys, when I saw.
No,
I
John,
was like, oh my
can I
God.
please interrupt you? Please interrupt you. So a couple years ago,
Sorry.
I came across your YouTube a couple years ago. And you were sitting there and you were in the kitchen. It was dark. And you were like, I don't know what to think. You just watched Soaked in Bleach.
Again.
And you were like, I don't know what to think about it. Okay. Like you were really messed up. And I remember I commented on your thing and I was like, you're a friend. Do something about it. Do something about it. And here you are, John. Here you are. You're doing something about it.
Well, this isn't the first time. Believe me.
So
yeah.
that just fills my heart up with joy that you're actually, because I remember you and I was like,
you know, there's something really important.
What the fuck?
I personally discovered this. I don't know. I would say that I was the one because it was right after the photos were released. I realized that it was written on the back of an IHOP placemat. And if you look at my video,
yes,
that
was the video.
Got me because you know what's frustrating with this whole thing is you find something like that, you're like, oh my God, this is obvious. Why has nobody ever talked about IHOP in this? You know, I contacted Charles and I was like, look, in Heavier Than Heaven, you say he tore the piece out of his notebook. He wrote like this whole story about this, but it's written on the back of an IHOP placemat in red. And it's Courtney talking about it. Why isn't this part of the story?
Exactly.
And back to me. And he's passed away. And it's almost like someone like Charles probably went to
and I think that's when the light bulb,
not that he believed.
I think that's when the light bulb went off for you. Like when it was like ding, ding, ding.
Well,
I don't know. I mean, I don't know you. So
I would go, I'm missing something. And I would watch Soaked in Bleach. That's what you saw. I miss, and I found something. And I'm like, this is weird. Why is this? This is real, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that is, there's missing photos too that are part of the whole thing. Where are the missing photos are really important,
Exactly. Yeah.
I wanted to share this. I think I said this in a video, but I shared this with a friend and she reminded me is that if you're writing your death note, your suicide note, I mean, Kurt was empathic and he would cry, right? He would cry you'd be crying. There'd be tears on the note, right? At some point. I mean, come on.
Yep.
You're writing about right?
Yes.
And
there would have absolutely.
I remember when you said that, and it really got me. Look at there's no tears on it,
Nope.
Yeah, but there is a last name. There is a last name on there.
Which is weird.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Because I'd sign my death note with my last name. Come on.
You'd be fucking bawling, right? I mean,
yeah.
Hell no.
Anyway.
Hell no. If there's even a note.
Yeah.
And I think the note anyway. I still think that note was a band breakup note. I don't even think it related to anything.
Yeah.
Because he literally told me those exact same things. He said almost verbatim the exact same things, like back in January. So.
And I don't doubt it. Like that's what it reads out to be.
Yeah.
I
straight up.
I had mentioned this the other day. John, I don't know if you were in the chat with us, but you know, this clearly reads like a retirement letter or, you know, breaking up your band, whatever. Like, who would be the person that he would give that to if he was planning to leave Nirvana? Who would he give something like that to? I think that's a
He'd
good
give it
place
to both of them, like Chris and Dave, like and maybe Pat. Like, you know, I think he would just
I
be like,
find it
here you go.
interesting, like where we find this practice sheet is
I think
found by Rosemary Carroll at Goldberg's house. Like, is this something you would give to your manager?
Manager, that's quite possible.
You know what I mean? It just
That was my guess.
ties in together.
Mind-boggling.
Sorry,
Yeah.
You know,
Rachel, did you have something you were trying to say?
I don't even remember, but I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, okay.
Second.
I saw you being like,
there was something like 10 minutes ago, but it's totally it's gone
sorry.
now. It's all good.
nice.
You guys are talking. It's fine.
It was nice to talk to everybody, but I gotta go. And
It was very nice meeting you, John. Thank you so much for everything.
It was nice to meet you too, John.
Have a great rest
Michelle
of your
just
night.
said to let everybody know that she had to go start dinner. So
Yep.
if we want to just close out, anybody have any closing words? Or if we want to keep going, we can keep going. It's up to you guys.
Well, happy birthday, Kurt. You know,
Yeah,
right?
happy birthday, Kurt.
Like,
We love
Happy
you.
birthday to Kurt.
I always remember
Happy
his
birthday, kid.
And also, really good things happen to me on Kurt's birthday. I noticed that. Whether it's just like, you know, I mean, it's an interesting. Like
you're talking about synchronicities and that, and yeah, the little synchronicities when you get little signs and little things that don't sort of add up, but they stick out, and you're like, is that? Nah, but it is.
Yes, yes, they happen. They happen.
Yeah.
Very much so.
I was literally just talking to Sabrina about all the little synchronicities and the little things that just pop up here and there, like all the little signs. Yeah, they're all over the place.
Yeah, come in as well. You take notice, and then they disappear. So yeah,
that would be a good conversation. We should talk about synchronicities sometime regarding.
Yeah,
that would be awesome. I would love that.
Yes.
Good night, John.
Good night.
Good night,
John.
Good night, John.
I think if we're going to.
Michelle said she'd be back in a few minutes. I don't think we
Oh,
can
yeah.
do it without.
No, I wouldn't want to end it without her.
Yeah, that's why I told her we'd just wait for her.
Yeah.
Hopefully, this is the last birthday that the truth is unknown.
Yes.
By this time next year, everybody will know the actual truth, and it'll be a completely different narrative that the world knows. So, yeah, it'd be really exciting to see that happening.
It'd be nice if it could not be a sad day. It's a really hard day every fucking year, and
Yeah.
it's hard.
I hope it brings us all together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
it'll be a lot better being able to, celebrate this day as having him vindicated, because he was sort of tried, convicted, and sentenced to self-murder without any investigation. So now that we're doing all this, I think that it's very evident that that was not the case. And to be honest with you, even without sharing everything, there's so much more evidence to support the murder than there is to support the self-murder. I think the onus then will have to be upon the Seattle Police Department to show us your evidence. Here's ours. Show us yours. And what have you got that proves it? So,
because their narrative is far less likely than our narrative. I mean, they really can't prove it.
It's a suicide theory, is what it is.
Yeah.
Like,
like they're actually the tin hat. They're the ones with the tinfoil hats on. I mean,
exactly. Like come on.
Facts on our side. Sorry.
Yeah.
Not to mention the fucking light was off.
I've always read about that. I'm like, wait a minute. So in the autopsy, it says he died in the afternoon, right? I don't know if read scan through the autopsy like you have just, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But Nicholas had stated that it was likely in the afternoon. But I don't, with Joe's statement and everything, I don't agree with it because it's like, well, it was more likely in the late, early morning. And how could he have done that with the lights off? How could have Grant not have pulled up there and saw the light on?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just it's a weird, bizarre thing to me. Like, it's just like, okay, well, that doesn't make any sense at all. And I think that's one of the things is, yeah.
That's just one of the things I think, though, Lennon, that stand out to me massively is the light. Where was his water source? What did he use to cook up? Where was the cup?
Yeah.
Where was the bowl? Where was the water? The fact that the gun wouldn't have worked that way, it's been proven now.
No
the packed
tourniquet,
up kit,
yeah.
the roll down sleeves. There's 5 or 6 things that should make people pause and give it thought. One of those things should be enough to make people go, hang on, something's not right here. But there's 5 or 6 glaring evidence, things wrong with this case that someone should have noticed. And Hartshorn, as far as I'm concerned, is a piece of shit. He's the one that said it was murder, said it was suicide. So what time of day? I don't think he could tell if his ass was on fire.
I wouldn't call him a piece of shit. I would just be like, I think he was coerced, or how do you say that? Coerced?
Yeah, coerced or monetary incentivized.
Yeah.
Something.
I don't think you can tell how when someone died to that level of accuracy when it's any forensic psychologist would tell you that it's a big range, probably between 12 and 24 hours at best.
I was going to say the tightest you could get it would be a 6-hour window.
Yeah. So that it being afternoon or early morning, like I don't think we did work that, whether even if he is capable of that.
I also have a friend that was brothers with the electrician that worked at Vecca. Okay. He says, because his brother actually went to Lake Washington and was like working on the thing. And he says he wasn't there that day, but when the call came in, when Gary Smith called the office, he says, he was the one that called the radio station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I was told this story that the brother that you're referring to, that he was actually with Gary. And when they called the boss told him that it was okay to go ahead and leave. And that he supposedly said he'll take what he saw that day to the grave and he'll never admit being there.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Lisa. So he's like, and they had disposable cameras.
Yeah.
Okay. And that, because back in the day we didn't have.
Yeah.
Whatever. So the guy, I don't even know what I'm trying to say here. I lost my train of thought. But
we should probably be sorry. We should probably be focusing a bit more on trying to celebrate him tonight. I don't know.
We're so
into a team brainstorm, and we are on a live. And I'm just thinking it is nice to just talk about his life and celebrate him a little bit more.
So what's the last song you guys heard of Kurt or Nirvana? Like just to have I did this in the chat. Play the same game. Each person just go around. For me, the last song I heard was the B-side version of Aneurysm.
For me, it was "You Know You're Right" on vinyl.
Yeah.
I think mine's changed since I last spoke to you, so it would be Lounge Act.
Nice.
Lounge Act is actually my favourite song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mine was D7, the demo test version of D7, mind, which is, to me, is an absolute masterpiece. You literally hear them put it together, and it's raw as it comes. And I'm not allowed to listen to it at home. I am the only Nirvana fan. So it's only I go on an errand that I can actually blast my music. And do I blast it? Oh yes, I blast it. And that is one you just can't help it, can you? It just makes your hair stand on end. It's absolutely raw and perfect. That demo test version, it has to be that. I've got it on B-side or out Sester side, one of those things. And that was fun. And I probably look absolutely insane.
The last one for me was Dive. I prepared for this podcast. I've got my Got Vinyl T-shirt on from Aberdeen, like the record store at Aberdeen. And I was actually gifted this single by Kurt Cobain. And it is...
Oh my gosh.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I love
that.
that.
It's a mega cool single. Sorry, am I backwards? I don't know. You tipped over there, Patrick.
Oh, yeah, sorry. My mic muted and everything got big. I had to turn it.
That's freaking awesome.
No, all good. See, I cranked that. And that was actually with Dan Peters on drums when they did that. We're talking about Chad before.
Oh yeah.
Dan Peters was drumming when they made that single. So there you go.
That's cool.
Excellent.
And just while
Hey, guys.
I'm not sure. I'm showing off now. I don't know if anyone's seen this. But I got a tattoo a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
And I got one
Yes,
further
yes,
there.
yes, indeed.
Look, I
Just to
got
be
this
sure.
shirt on.
Oh, so
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
Good.
I love it.
Brilliant.
So I'm addicted to tattoos and Nirvana. Well, just grunge, really.
You got my
There you go.
utero on.
I just want to introduce you guys. I don't know if any of you have met Alex. He just joined. Michelle just wanted me to introduce him. He's somebody else. He's worked with us with Joe for a while.
Hi, Alex.
Very,
Hey, Alex.
Hi, sweetheart. Hi.
Hey, Alex.
And help Joe get his life on the road and everything. So Alex,
I
is you, Joe.
do a live stream every week for feedback from people's music. And so it started at 6 and I had to, I had to be there for my weekly stream and because I'm the host. But I'm here now, and the last song that I heard was a version of "And I Love Her" that I really have covered a few times because Kurt's version is unique compared to Neil's version because of the kind of somber tone that he puts in it.
Excellent.
I've got to run, guys. I got to go and pick the kids up from school because it's 3:22 in Australia here at the moment in the afternoon on a Friday. I've only had 3 beers, so don't stress. It's all good. And they're low carb. They're light beers, so they're piss weak beers. So it's all good. We're safe.
I'm sending you the snow.
Yeah. Oh, hey, can you see the sky behind me? It's 35 here today, which I think is about 95, 98. We're in the middle of summer for all you Northern Hemisphere people.
It's gonna happen.
I'm so
Yeah,
jealous.
I've never actually seen snow, and I only go to Seattle in summer for that very reason. Because 25 is cold for me.
It's 9 degrees Fahrenheit here. It's cold. Really cold.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I think it's
fuck
like
that.
Lisa. I think it's like 2 degrees here. Like
Yeah,
you
no,
probably are a little
no,
colder
thank
than
you.
me. It's terrible.
But just before I pop out, if anyone's in Seattle, I'm going to the Lane Staley shows this year, August. I'll be in Seattle, August 20 to 28. I would absolutely love to have a beer with anyone who's around. And obviously, I'm making myself available for the big, let's say, the revelation when the case gets turned from, even if it's just moved to unknown. I think we all need to get together and crank some vinyl very fucking loud and get drunk and enjoy it.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, guys.
That's the plan.
I don't
Thanks, Ward.
Keep up the
Thank
good
you.
fight. See you guys.
Bye,
Take care.
Jason.
So did anyone have any final thoughts that they wanted to share? I see we lost John.
Well, you didn't share your last song that you listened to. Everyone else did.
The last
What was
song
the
that I
last
listened
Nirvana?
to?
Yeah.
What was the last
Oh.
Nirvana song you
Oh,
listened
that's a
to?
good question. Okay, let me look. Hold on. Music. It was.
Apparently
It
wasn't
was.
very recent.
You know, you're right.
That was mine too.
Oh, I love it. Yes.
Twinning.
Yes, totally. And so I don't know why I never really kind of got into that one. And then after your reading of it, Patrick, the other day, I've kind of been listening to it nonstop. So
Same.
So thank you for doing that. Yes.
Wow.
So yeah. Otherwise, I think. Oh, hey, Alex.
Well,
So
mine
you
was
guys
Drain
decided-
You.
Oh,
By the
excellent.
way.
Yep.
Great one.
That's another one of my favorites.
Love
Absolutely.
that song.
So I just I hope that I wasn't too harsh about with John saying that people, I know we can't tell everybody how to grieve and how they should grieve, but you know, when you watch true crime, you see everybody's family sticking up for them, questioning things,
Yeah.
you know, doing podcasts, trying to get the word out about their family. And I think it's a fucking travesty that no one has done that for Kurt. And
Yeah.
I agree.
And I love that John just like stood up and
absolutely.
was like, I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna say something.
Absolutely. And, you know, I think that's one of the problems too with people who knew Kurt. They think that none of us have the right to stand up for Kurt because we didn't know him. There's a bizarre claim that people make to Kurt. And I can tell you that if that's
Send him
what
my
you're
way.
saying, yeah, you can absolutely fuck right off because none of us are backing down. And if
Yeah.
Kurt's family and people who knew him won't do it, we know some of them obviously will, and we're very blessed. But none of us are backing down. So
Nope.
we
Not going anywhere.
exactly
Not
this
going
has been-
anywhere.
exactly. So this has been really amazing. I think we should do this every once in a while. So of course, everyone is welcome to come back. Everybody who watched, if you want to take part in one of these, please send us an email or post a comment on YouTube. Hopefully we'll see it. Don't forget to join our Facebook group and our Patreon. Almost everybody there participates in it. So if you have questions for any of them, you can always go ahead and do that. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for coming. This was so much fun.
I'm so
Yeah,
glad.
and
we
I
did
if
this.
you-
also.
Oh, go
Sorry,
ahead,
And
Lisa.
if you,
Go
I
ahead,
was going to say,
Lisa.
if for the people, the viewers, if you didn't know, and if you had questions for me, I am often answering questions on our Patreon. So it's free to join. You can go there, and as long as the questions are respectful and all that, ask away, and I try and answer. So I just wanted to plug that since you mentioned Patreon but didn't really go there. So anyway,
Perfect.
sorry, Lisa, you said you wanted to
No,
say
I was
something?
just going to say I updated the description today on YouTube also with the new links. So
Perfect.
everyone, they're all good now.
Perfect.
go.
Awesome. Thank you so much to everyone who donated. We're going to be using those donations for the gel dummies. Mike was here at the very beginning, our gun ballistics expert. And sorry, I was just checking out the comments. And so he is going to be purchasing those dummies as soon as we get the rest of the funds to do that. So yes, our patron is back. So come back to Patreon. And we will hopefully see a lot of you again soon. And yeah, happy birthday, Kurt.
Hey,
Happy
I forgot
birthday,
one
Kurt.
thing.
Kurt.
Go ahead.
Happy birthday, kid.
Wait,
If
wait,
you guys
what?
are using,
sorry, we're
if
not
you guys
going?
are using Venmo, the 4-digit code that it's going to ask for is 1869. I've tried to shut it off. I don't know what the hell I'm doing wrong. I'll keep playing with it, but it's 1869 if it asks.
Okay. I had to dip out there because hubby was getting up for work, so he was just
gosh.
kind of plodding through, and I was going to say, come
Oh,
on and say hi.
And I want to say thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming, Lennon. Of
Aw.
course.
And this
Can
this
I
was
say something?
this was my first time on camera for 3 years, so
Yeah,
We're
and we
so
didn't
happy you're here.
actually, I didn't get to hear your side of the story about Kurt Cobain.
mine.
Yes.
Oh right. I think I was first. I was 18 whenever I first sort of saw Smells Like Teen Spirit. Thought it was absolutely incredible. Never seen anything like it before in my whole life. Unfortunately for my sins, I was a bit of a Guns N' Roses fan prior to that, so just under the carpet, and we'll not discuss that any further. But yeah, it was like a real eye opener for me, and I actually have I was going to go and see Nirvana play in the King's Hall in Belfast when the first time the Nevermind tour was on, but I was a really big fan of a band called the Nymphs. I don't know if any of you have heard of the Nymphs. Lead singer was called Inger Lower, and I absolutely loved them. I just thought they were amazing. And at the time, Courtney and Inger Lower were having a bit of a thing, and Courtney was being Courtney, I suppose. And in a huff, I decided that I wasn't going to go and see Nirvana because, you know, I was being very loyal to the Nymphs, and I didn't go and see them. So then I got over that and had planned to go and see them in utero, and then, you know, it never happened because it was taken away, which was very unfortunate for everybody. And I originally had kind of thought that everything that Courtney was putting out was true at the start, you know, because you just seen it in magazines, you saw it in newspaper articles. There was no internet. You couldn't just like check your facts, you know. It was just you were being fed what you were being fed, and that was it. And it wasn't until I sort of came across a site that said about, you know, there's inconsistencies here, and this might not be what it was what we were told it was, and then I started to get very, very involved in it, to the point where it became a bit of an obsession. I wrote to the Seattle Police Department. I emailed the FBI. I was like, you need to sort this out. This is ridiculous. And because it, you know, it was just such an injustice. And the thing is that I think more than anything else, when I became a mum, I really thought he would never have left his kid.
No fucking way.
You know,
no fucking way.
He would not have left her at all. And I think that was a really big thing for me. And for Francis to have grown up without him is just, I think, one of the biggest injustices that there is. I mean,
yes.
It's horrific, absolutely horrific, and I really hope that when it all comes to light, that it, you know, what happened, that it'll make her, I don't know what way it will make her feel, but I hope that it gives her some peace that her dad did not leave her willingly, because I just couldn't see him doing it at all. I really couldn't.
I hope she finds some peace, like once we find some justice. Like I hope she finds some peace. It's going to be hard, but I hope, you know, because
yeah. And I mean, now that Patrick has come forward, I'm hoping that a lot of other people will have the testicular fortitude to do the same, because I mean, if you're standing by and you're not doing it, then, you know, inaction is, you know, it's just as bad as doing the thing yourself. If you know that it's not true, if you know that he didn't do it, fucking come forward and talk about it and tell people and
come
get
on now.
board. You know, I mean, at the moment my catchphrase is get on the train or get out of our fucking way, because we're doing this. And that's it.
Exactly.
You know, that's it. We are doing this.
That's it.
Absolutely.
We're doing it for Kurt.
Yep.
Yes.
Awesome.
Nothing's
Thank
gonna
you
stop
so
us.
much, team. Exactly right. So get the fuck in or fuck the fuck off. That's
exactly.
Yeah. Okay,
Well said.
perfect. Awesome, my loves. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming, and we'll do this again soon. Okay.
Yes,
all right.
please.
Love you.
Take care.
Love you.
I love you.
Bye.
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 Bye, guys. Love you guys.
Bye. Love yous.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm still here.